Yeah, I gotta be honest, this season is not it, man. Tower of God deserves better, and I really feel like we're at Stockholm Syndrome moment with this show because I took a look, just a quick look, just to see, like, I was wondering, like, peek on Reddit, and there's some positivity, not a lot, but a little more, but I think it's really just Stockholm Syndrome because we were just used to such mediocrity that if it's slightly above mediocrity, we're like, oh yeah, it's actually better, right? Right? Could you imagine Demon Slayer? Solo leveling, Hunter x Hunter with this type of production for its action, Nen would not have been considered one of the best power systems in anime had it had a Tower of God Season 2 adaptation, let's be honest. Now, I have full live reactions over on Patreon if you want to see my disappointment in real time and how I break this series down. It's going to be over there exclusively because we got a lot to talk about, and I don't think it's an exaggeration to say this episode sucks. Now, there's probably, to play even devil's advocate against myself, it's not the worst episode. But when you have people trying to claim that Tower of God is the Korean One Piece, it's a pretty bold claim. And your anime adaptation is this. It ain't no Korean One Piece in terms of anime, let's be honest. This pains me greatly to say. This season can't do action at all. Like, Tower of God was an action-oriented show in Season 1 with a lot of great drama. And Season 2, it's got drama. Sometimes it's pretty decent, sometimes it's pretty good. But its action's not good. I don't know why anyone would be excited for a Season 3, whether you read the source or not. Because if you've read the source, I'm pretty sure, based on the fact that the entire Tower of God subreddit thinks this is the worst thing to happen since, I don't know, Promised Neverland, something like that. You know, like, there's not excitement. So people are just going to recommend the source. And for anime onlys, I'm getting people at week after week telling me they dropped this after, like, the 3rd or 4th episode. Now, it's possible we could get a glow-up, because if you look at something even like Shield Hero Season 3's production was actually way more similar to that of Season 1, even though Season 2 took a big nosedive. And we could get a situation like that. It's entirely possible. We'll see a preview for Season 3, and you know, it looks just way better. It's like, oh shit, this actually builds excitement again. It's possible, but it's not guaranteed. And when you have something as big as this, to have action, like, this is what bothers me. I mentioned it back 2 episodes ago when we had Wangnin, you know, when they were trying to grab the key or whatever, and Wangnin, like, charged in screaming. And I was like, oh, it just feels so stupid. It's like, it's such a ham-fisted reason for a character getting exposed before he gets the W. And we had a moment like that with Kun this episode. Maybe in the source material it's like better directed, maybe it's a single panel so it doesn't feel as prolonged. So this snake dude jumps Kun and attacks him with like a poison dart, right? And that would have killed anyone else. He had armor. Okay, so why doesn't he just immediately strike again? Instead he stands there talking like, haha, I was gonna kill you. You must have some expensive equipment there. How'd you do that? And then he tries to attack and then Kun just jumps him. Like, why? You already had plans to kill this kid. Why didn't you immediately try to attack him again? Why did you wait? Why did you wait 30 seconds? Like, it's just, the directing makes no sense for this show. And maybe in the source there just was that amount of dialogue, but it just felt so forced that that's the reason Kun survived, not because of talent, but because the enemy waited too long to attack. And if you want to say I'm being too critical on the show, go ahead. People claim I'm too positive, and then when I actually have an issue with something that, and the reason I'm still talking about this, because I legitimately enjoy Tower of God, and it frustrates me, because I want the show to get back on track, and I'm hoping Season 3 will do that, because I know Season 2 ain't gonna do that, because even though it was getting a bit more on track last week, it's not really enough to necessarily save a season that's been so mediocre. And I think that's probably the best word to describe it, is it's mediocre. But when something was so great in Season 1, and I'm not saying that there wasn't criticisms in Season 1, there was. People even had issues with how Season 1 looked. I thought it had a unique art style, I liked the animation, I liked Season 1, I thought it was a damn amazing show. And that's what I wanted more of. But for those who try to tell me that this is the Korean One Piece and, you know, every season, every arc, you'll get introduced to more and more characters. There's thousands of characters. That's not exciting for me. If we had a One Piece level world at anime face value where I'm like, yeah, every time I see a character, I'm excited. But like half the characters that got introduced in Season 2, I just don't care about. And that's because they didn't really make me grow with them. They just kind of existed in the party magically form. Think I care about that little girl? I really don't. Am I supposed to? Like, if I read it, I probably would have a very different tune. It's true. And most likely, I might take a gander at, you know, what season 2 adapted and see if my tune changes. But it's sad when, like, it feels like the Tower of God fandom has been so divided. I think universally, the majority opinion is this isn't a good season. People who are the most massive fanboys of Tower of God are dropping this season. And that speaks volumes. But it's not the worst god-awful thing. Like, this doesn't look like the New Gate. And if anyone watched the New Gate, you know how bad an anime can truly look by the end. It's not that. But when you have... You're supposed to be impressed by the action, right? And it just kind of feels like people are just... They're phoning it in. So, like, there's this moment around the midway point-ish, and a character is, like, you know, supposed to be, like, very aggressive, freaking out, like, hey, get down for there, because the Ran, I think it was, like, whipping away the traps and whatnot. The character down below is, like, the voice actor's doing a good job. It sounds frustrated, like, no, get back here, don't do that. And his character model is just kind of existing, with mouth flaps, like... What do you even... The only thing you gain currently by watching this anime is Kevin Penking's amazing OST, which is just fire, and some pretty solid VA work off and on. I'm sure there's going to be some people who say, well, why do I even watch the show anymore? And it's like, honestly, I'm just committed to the season at this point. I want to see it through. But yeah, why would I watch a season 3 if this is how it's going to look? I would agree with that. If we compare this episode and last week, it is miles better than the month that came before. That is true. But being better than mediocrity just ever so slightly doesn't make you a good episode. It makes you a better episode than the mediocrity that came before. And to me, something with as much passion in terms of a fan base, the fan base calls this the Korean One Piece. If that ain't passion, I don't know what is. And then you get this. The fact that Bam is trying to have this emotional scene, and they cut to this MS Paint looking drawing, where I can't tell, are the characters 8-year-olds or just very lanky, poorly drawn? Like, they're trying to have emotion, and they're showing the worst drawn image imaginable. What the fuck happened? I don't know. Let me know what you're feeling about this. Maybe everyone loved this episode and they're gonna say I'm being too much of a hater. Is what it is. You can't win online. All I'm saying is that I didn't even read this and I feel bad for the source readers. Let me know your feelings down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around, of course ring that bell. Like I mentioned, full live reactions over on Patreon if you want to see me rip into the show in full. It's gonna be over there. And hey, while you're over there, I'll just give you a video shout out. So today we got Nuva Gown, ICL Seal Drill, Jacob McCarthy, Divine Tank 00, Durgle Senpai, True Demon Lord, Chris, Carlos De La Cruz, and we also have a Galactron. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and you all have a good one.